Your microphone is no longer flashing. Flashing. Your microphone is no longer flashing. Flashing.
Flashing. Flashing. No longer flashing.
Lights. Lights. Lights.
Blink, blink, blink.
Hey, hey, hey.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Games with R&D podcast, episode 9. Hey, we're back. It's been forever. We've all been isolated. We've been dealing with all of the world's problems, but all that's going to change today because we are now back in the same room, and oh my god, it feels so good. I am right next to one and two of the greatest people in the entire world, and I'm so excited. We have Roberto.
Hello.
And Dan-tastic.
I am here.
My name's Garrett Anderson, and oh boy, even though the world's been on absolute fire, things have been going on in the video game realm. So much stuff has been announced, released, streamed, all kinds of things. You had IGN, Summer of Games. You had the Guerrilla Collective put together by The Mix and Kind of Funny. You had Sony's State of Play. You had EA Play. Tons of different awesome streams. All kinds of games. There's honestly too much to cover, but we are going to try to hit on at least some of what made us most excited. But of course, also, it's been a minute, and we also want to talk about what we've been playing, because we honestly haven't actually seen each other in this room for so long. We're just going to kind of try to catch up a little bit. And I'm really curious as to what Dan-tastic has been playing recently.
Do you really have to ask me that question?
Well, I'm sure it's Final Fantasy XIV.
It is.
But we can talk about it.
We can talk a little bit about it. Okay, so on top of Final Fantasy XIV, I've also been playing some board games. I went out and purchased a bunch of expansions for some of the ones that I have, like Gloomhaven, Ashes, Rise of the Phoenixborn. Super awesome games. A lot of them are multiplayer games, but a lot of these games, because we're in isolation, can be played alone. And that's one thing that's been keeping my mind a little sharp, you know? Playing those games. I downloaded a mobile game on my phone, and that's Final Fantasy. What was I don't even remember. It's War of the Visions. It's essentially Final Fantasy Tactics with a newer story, updated graphics, a slightly different interface. It's amazing. Yeah, there's microtransactions in there, but I don't do that. You still have your daily, you get free summons and do this and you do that. You go through the storyline. You get rewarded with characters, with level up items, with weapons, with armor. You go and you fight these epic boss battles. You have your skills. You can level those up. You got your abilities. You level those up. It's amazing. It's definitely a good callback to the original Final Fantasy Tactics game that was out on the PS1. And I'm digging it. I'm loving it. And then, of course, Candy Crush, because sometimes you're doing something like I don't know, just sitting there doing nothing.
Pooping.
Yeah, pooping. Yeah, well, I didn't really want to say it, but yeah, you're in the reading room and you're playing some Candy Crush because you're crushing it, right?
Gotta crush that candy.
You gotta crush that candy. So you play that, and I got back into that, but like that. But yeah, Final Fantasy XIV has been taking up the majority of my time, only because I'm paying for it. It's a paid subscription.
Sure.
And you got to make the most of it. And I've been having a lot of fun with it because I created a new character, and I've been running around town just randomly laughing at people and following them and having fun and poking them and playing dead and doing all kinds of things. And I ran up to this one character. Her name is Yeon, and in one of the starting cities in Gridania, and I would run up and I would poke and then I would laugh, haha. And of course, the character that I created is like one of the smallest little characters called Lalafell.
Okay.
And she's got this crazy little demonic laugh when you actually use the emote to laugh.
Okay.
And so I'd go and poke, I'd laugh, I'd run away. Okay. And when I would run away, I would go do something else. That's all fine and good. I'm taking care of things that I actually want to take care of in game.
Sure.
Then I would run back and see if that person was still in the same spot. They were. And they were looking at me and they would slap me. And I'm like, so then I would laugh.
Okay.
Poke again, chuckle, and then run away. And I did that for about an hour and a half. And it was amazing. So funny. It was so fun. So then I see the person the next day on my regular character. And they're actually on my friend list. And I was like, hey, so what's going on? Oh, man, last night I was so frustrated. Yeah, so this person was coming around just laughing, little tiny thing. I'm like, that was me. I love playing with people like that. It's awesome.
That's great.
Of course, then I go into the hardcore stuff, and I'll do high-end raids, Copy Factory, try to get some really awesome gear. Try to get all my glam done, which is essentially covering up your gear to make it look like something else. And that's one of the true end games right there, is glamming up your character to make it look like something else. And there's a lot of people out there that have very impressive glams on their characters. They look like characters from other games.
Awesome.
And Square Enix actually on their Mog Station store has items to make you look like Goku. You can ride the little yellow Nimbus. You can wear the gi. You can get the hair. You can even get an emote where you power up and you can see the energy going around you. And I'm like, oh, that is pretty cool. You know, and they have all kinds of different things that you unlock that you can purchase if you want to. It's been taking up all of my time just to try to, you know, make my characters look the way they want, you know, the way I want them to look.
I'm really impressed with your dedication. I mean, we kind of made a running joke of it.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, if you're a listener and you're talking about Final Fantasy 14 again, right? But like, I mean, seriously.
But I never really went in depth.
No, I think that it's really cool that you've taken it to the level that you have literally mastered this game, and there's been very few games that I have done that with in my lifetime, so it is very special when a game like that comes into your life that you are willing to put that much time towards, and then it just becomes almost like your second life.
It is.
Right.
Yeah, because you have your friends, you care about these people, you know, and that's one of the best things about this game. It's a social game.
Sure.
You know, if you're going to play an MMO and not talk to anybody, then why play an MMO?
Sure.
You might as well play something like, you know, Horizon or Uncharted or something where you don't have to worry about talking to somebody. Just go off and do your thing, you know? And those games are super fun, too. They just, well, they do kind of have the social aspect of it with Uncharted Online. But that's all, you know, multiplayer, kill you. It's not like...
It's not deep.
So it's not deep and social like any MMO would be.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. It's been the time.
That's great, man. It's good to hear. I mean, I'm just keep at it. I want to see your final form when it all comes together, and I'm sure we'll hear about more in the upcoming weeks. Roberto,
Hi.
talk to me. Tell me, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? A little bit of Overwatch here and there. I had a friend that was streaming Paladins. I was confused in why I haven't been playing that one. You know, everything that I've done in Overwatch, I've been able to just transfer over there, you know, because it's been a really long time, and me playing Paladins, I just picked like the most FPS character you could use, and I started destroying everything in my way. You know, and just winning every match with just that one character, and I'm like, oh, right, that's why I don't play this game, because I keep destroying everything.
So is it PvE or PvP completely?
It's a PvP.
Okay. So you're just killing kids. You're just murdering people.
Yes, pretty
Really?
much.
And is it because do you think it's a simpler game design in the mechanics, or like why do you think?
Not. Mechanics are pretty much the same. There's different abilities. I mean, I can figure out what characters feel like characters from Overwatch. The one thing that makes it a little different, though, is that you have like little trading cards that you can make as your loadout, and so these loadouts can change how each character powers or passives work for you as well. And that's something that you can't do in Overwatch. And so, depending on how the style I want to use for that specific character, I can try to make it work for me when it comes to that. And then not only that, every time you're in a match and you like get a kill or you're healing or you do damage, you get credits, and you can use those credits to add more passives into your character. To take less damage, steal health from enemies when they take damage, or take less time to get your ultimate or your abilities. And so, playing trading cards, playing these kind of games, getting an idea on how it works, I've already figured out like what loadouts I want to use for specific characters, and because of that, I spent the money on getting all the characters. I have a stupid battle pass for the game, and then I regret not playing this game during January because they had a Mobile Suit Gundam theme battle pass, and I was so mad because I'm a sucker and I have a soft spot for mech anime, and so I'm really kicking myself because of that. But, this is more of a release my own kind of frustrations game. Because, normally, like in Overwatch, I play support. And, I try to keep people alive. And I get annoyed after a while because they just run or they do dumb things. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to slow down. I'm going to go to a different game. And I've been using this one just to release some stuff. And I'm not a good Overwatch player. I'm not, none of these games I'm a good player. I just, I see how the rules work and that kind of thing. If anything, I'm just a casual player in any of these games. But with the teams that they match me up with, how the game works and this kind of thing, that's how I feel with Paladins. It's just more. I wouldn't say it's more of a casual game because it's not. It's just
clicking with you.
I guess it's just clicking better than Overwatch is, but.
So Roberto's going pro in Paladins.
He is.
Yeah.
So it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
So actually, my question to you is: you said in Paladins you get these cards that are used for your loadouts. Are these cards consumable, or do they stay with you forever?
They stay with you depending on what. So when you start, when you choose a character, and you're getting into a match, there's like extra little abilities that you can choose from. Then there's usually 3, and then from there you can make like a loadout for how you want to. I think there's like up to 8 different loadouts you can choose from, but you get 3 regular ones from the game, and then you could create 5 other ones. And so each one has a specific loadout for each of those abilities that you have. And so to create a loadout, you have to have 5 cards. The minimum is 5 cards, so you already spent 5 points. And you have to use the max you can have is 15 points. And each time you level it up, you're using a point. So whatever you want to do that you want to specifically power up, that's where it starts. You're starting to play the game, the numbers game, to figure out how you want to power up your specific character.
Right.
And so it won't let you save that loadout until you already have 5 cards and you used all 15 points.
Oh wow.
And so I was, when I first started trying to figure this out, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to use 3 cards and, just use all 5 at level 5. Like, no. It has to be 5 cards, and you have to use all 15 points. So I'm like, okay, I can't have the max power of each card that I want. That I get it. It's too broken. So, depending on the character that I'm using, and what I think, like, oh, this, like, for example, there's I wouldn't say a Thunder God, but he's like he's a wizard that uses lightning and stuff.
Sure.
And so he has a Thunder Staff. The way that I like using him is, shooting my own team with the staff. And so one of his abilities is using that staff to heal, not just to damage, but to heal. And so, because he only has, like, these totems, and you could put them for only maybe 5-6 seconds, I've seen with the teammates that I have, some of them just run and don't, think about...
They're Leroy Jenks in it.
Yeah, pretty
Leroy
much.
Jenkins,
And so, I can't really go, I'm just a healer, doesn't take me a lot of damage to die, but, I use his staff to be able to shoot them far away, and I just hold the button so it, continues healing them, and it lets me get my, like, totems back a lot faster. And then, from there I'll use, like, since I'm using this weapon or this ability more often, I'm going to make my my time for my abilities a lot faster, or, power up my ultimate a lot quicker. So
Okay.
I want to make sure that, all these things are going on at the same time.
That's awesome, man. Sounds like you've broken the game in a good way.
Yeah.
I wish.
To be fair, it's been a long time, and it's been a lot of years since I've felt dominant at a game. Meaning, like, I found a multiplayer game where I could just walk in and go 30-2 or whatever. I just have never been that great at multiplayer games, so it's got to feel good at least, especially after you said, openly, like, hey, I'm not the best Overwatch player, being able to walk in after a long day of work and being like, you know what, I'm killing everybody. It's everybody's going down, and that must feel good, right?
It does. I just,
does.
I'm just, for me, it's also, 'cause the thing about Overwatch that I like about a lot is that, yes, you can, do most of the work yourself, and you can actually, win the match for your team. But if the other team is actually working together,
You're screwed.
You're pretty much screwed. and with paladins, it doesn't really require that.
It doesn't require teamwork.
You do really well if you're working as a team, but if that other one player is able to destroy everything else, then it doesn't have the same.
Get on my back, I'm gonna carry you.
Well, that's cool. I mean, it's fun to be able to play a team-based game, but once in a while, just getting us together.
Yeah.
It's like, here we are on a Monday.
Yep.
We can only meet at this specific time because people have families, people have jobs, people have other obligations. It's one of those things that you can't always get a full squad together to play competitively. So it's nice to have, an Overwatch-like game for you to kind of fall back to, that you don't feel the need to have to communicate with, putting on the headset and trying to be very serious about it.
Overwatch Light.
Overwatch Light.
Half the calories of regular Overwatch.
Sure. Overwatch Diet. Tastes not really the same, but kinda.
Yeah, it's got that.
That's a slogan.
It's got that little aftertaste, yeah.
Yeah.
With half the calories.
So that's Paladins.
That's paladins.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I picked up the Pokemon expansion, and I got all of the 151 Diglets.
Ha! Diglett dig.
Do you feel good about this?
No.
What?
I spent like 3 days trying to get these damn little Diglets.
I'm lagging. I still haven't got the expansion yet, and I'm going to. I've also haven't really picked up my Switch in a while either.
Well, that's what made me pick up my Switch. Is the expansion.
I know. I need to get it. I actually, you know what? I'm gonna pick it up tonight as soon as I leave here.
It's very small. There's not a lot of stuff to do. There's 3 quests you have to do.
But there's new Pokemon that I can breed now.
Yeah, you can breed Pokemon again.
And I'm a breeder, so those Pokemon that were not available previously, now I'll be able to make shinies, make perfect perfect IV'd Pokemon, so that those that are in the competitive scene can now battle with their awesome Pokemon.
Gotta scratch that itch.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if you want a perfect IV Diglett.
No, I need a perfect IV Ditto. That's Japanese or some kind of other thing. Because I've been doing raids. I made my other Pokemon game Spanish language, so that when I do the raids, I can get that Ditto that's a different language. And there's a trick where when you put your item into this geyser that's filled with light, and it doesn't turn purple, you reset it before it actually registers.
Yeah. No,
so then you do that over and over until you get that purple one. Your Ditto will appear guaranteed, and at minimum, you'll get a 3-star Ditto. And at maximum, you'll get that 5-star Ditto. And a 5-star Ditto has a really, really high chance of having a 5 and 6 perfect IV stats. Usually, it's always a minimum of 4 when it's in the purple ones, which is fine. That's what I'm looking for. Right now, I only have 2 4 IV'd Dittos, and one of them is Japanese.
I need to check mine, because I think I do have a perfect IV Ditto, but
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a different language.
It doesn't matter, because I could always use a different language to Pokemon as well, so that's fine.
Very cool. Anything else you've been playing? Roberto's thinking.
He's thinking.
He's scratching his head. He's reaching over to his computer. I'm doing a play-by-play for our listeners. He's going into his Steam library. There's a lot of games on there.
There are a lot of games
this
in there.
library
Wow.
is looking very big. Okay, he's
It's
putting the
beefy.
mouse over the window key.
Oh, I see Dora the Explorer. Oh, watch
A
out.
lot of good stuff on there.
Ooh, Persona 4
Chris.
Golden.
Oh.
That's right. Persona 4 Golden was just recently
yeah.
released on there, wasn't
It
it?
was.
Oh my god.
We got to stay on track, fellers. We can talk about Persona 4 Golden for hours. That's a big one.
No, I guess that's it.
Okay, that's it. All right, it's my turn. Woof, we almost went down a rabbit hole there. I saw the detour.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it was like merging onto the 380, and I was like, shit, there's like 6 lanes here. I got to detour you guys pretty
Yep.
quickly, otherwise we're going to get way off track.
When this baby hits 80
All right,
miles an
so, up in isolation, I finally got some free time, and more free time than I'm used to having, because being a father of almost a 2-year-old now, I don't get that kind of free time. I saw my opening. I said, screw it, I'm going big.
Did you finally get out of the F's of your Steam library?
So no, I jumped out of that ship because I started looking and scrolling down that through the F's, and I was like, there's at least 30 games I don't give any F's about being stuck here in the F's. And I was like, I've always wanted to play Divinity. Okay? I've heard nothing but good things over the years about Divinity, and everybody says that Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition is the one to get. Okay. And so it was on sale. It was literally like $18. So I got it, and it's developed by Larian Studios out of Belgium, and it is very Europe. It's got a lot of that European dark, dry humor to it, extremely high fantasy, and it's big. And the only way I can describe this is when we think about epic RPGs, we do think of them being large. I don't want to say that this game is big in the way of map size. It's more just really big and dense in the way that they want you to play the game. It's heavily inspired by D&D, so you can imagine it took me about an hour and a half to decide what character I even wanted to play, because it's so heavy with the reading and the narrative, and what you choose to play as is going to be what you are doing for the next, hundreds and hundreds of hours. And oh boy, is it good, man. Everything down to the inventory management system. I can easily spend like 30 to 45 minutes just organizing my party's inventory. And it's one of those games that's all about the loot. You basically start with really low-level gear, and every step of the way, you're upgrading your helmet, your weapon, your gloves, your leggings, your chest armor. Of course, there's a socket kind of rune system, which, some of these items allow you to socket in to give you plus. And once again, it starts to become this huge numbers game. And yeah, you could probably run through the game quicker if you weren't worried about that, but the gamer in me is like, no. Every time I find a piece of gear, I'm going to look at that piece of gear, I'm going to compare that piece of gear, and also it being like this huge, huge RPG, you have your skill set. But you also have skills which you can unlock via your magic, and there's different forms of magic, right? There's pyromancy, there's geomancy that has to do with earth, there's air magic, there's lightning magic, and of course how many points you decide to put into that will determine what kind of skills you can unlock with that. And it's not just you're managing. Once again, it's an entire party of 4. So there is a lot of management. It is a tactical turn-based RPG. And you know what's funny about that is, I don't know about you guys, but generally turn-based combat hasn't been my thing. But this is so well done that I just fall into it. A battle can last me sometimes like 20, 30 minutes long, because I start to really look at like the way that I'm going to play out this battle. It's all of a sudden becomes chess to me. Yeah. In the best possible way. I don't mean that in like a boring chessboard, oh god, I'm moving this pawn here. No, I get completely wrapped up into it, to the point where I've already spent 80 hours in this, and I've probably been playing it for a couple weeks, but that's a lot of time for me, because I don't get a lot of time. Many nights staying up way too late, playing way too long, coming into work, sleep deprived, and it's one of those games too that's kind of got it I'm wrapped around its finger in a way that just hasn't happened to me in a long time. You know, when you play a good game and then you wake up and the first thing you think about, it's not water, it's not taking a piss, it's like, shit, if I equip that ring, I could probably get plus 10 fire damage on my guy, and then I could swap out that old ring to my barbarian who does, like, that kind of level of, like, addiction. It's bad. It's heroin. It's crack. It's the best crack. Mm-hmm. Not the kind of shit that you get on the street corner. No. This is high grade. It's delivered to your door.
I think your wife is going to get jealous.
It's, you know what? It's one of those things. I had to put myself in check a little bit. And you know what I will say, though? After this 80 hours, I'm only on the second island.
I wasn't going to say that. You're on chapter 2.
And I am only on the second island. And here's the thing, is I think I've min-maxed myself to death with this. And what I mean by min-max, if you're a listener, it's basically just maxing out your character to the point where you have become extremely overpowered for the area that you are in. I'm playing on the normal difficulty, and I am running around with such goddamn good gear. Everything I have is legendary, and it's very typical, right? Like, think common, uncommon, unique, epic, legendary, that kind of scale of gear. Most of my stuff is legendary. I've got way too much gold. I've basically broken the game in a way that, like, now I'm kind of finding it tedious. And I think I've ruined the game for me, and it's not the game's fault, because it might be one of the best RPGs I've ever played, but I, because of the way that I have played it, have kind of ruined it. Have you guys ever done this? Has this ever happened to you?
Yes.
Where because, and I think a good example, I've heard a lot of people doing this in The Witcher 3, where they end up just kind of just doing too much that they never actually want to finish the game, because I gotta tell you, this is a pretty run-of-the-mill RPG, right? Like, you are the chosen one.
Mm-hmm.
There are tears in the realm, and things are coming through from the other dimensions. This is no different in the fact that it's kind of like a very standard. So I have no investment in the narrative, really, even though, like, the voice acting's, like, pretty good. It's just not good enough to carry me forward, and I think that I have, like, literally broken the game in a way that it's making it unfun for myself, and it's really sad. But don't do what I did. I'd say maybe not be so precise about everything that you're doing. Maybe just try to like run through it a little bit faster than me. I highly recommend it. Divinity Original Sin 2, Larian Studios. Just another tip on them. They're actually going to be making Baldur's Gate 3,
Oh yes, I
which
can't wait
was
for
just
that.
announced, and I can't think of a better person to make an epic RPG, because I really do think that whatever they're doing over there has got a sprinkle of magic that some of these other studios don't have, because it's brilliantly done.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to fall off of it, though. I don't think I'm going to finish it, which is sad to say. But like 80 hours, $20.
Hey, not bad, right?
I mean, like, I've spent a lot more and a lot less.
Like, speaking of Baldur's Gate,
Yeah.
back when it first came out, my buddies and I, we actually dubbed it Bladder's Gate, because we would even not go pee, because we wanted to keep doing the next mission.
Dude, fantastic. That's so funny that you said that. The other day, I realized that, like, I was forced not peeing. Like, bro, like, I didn't pee because I just was in this dungeon, and I was like, can't do it,
Nope.
even though it's turn-based.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get up at any time. It's not like the enemy's going to attack me if it's my turn. Like, I can get up, but I'm like, no.
We gotta do this.
Got to go around the corner one more time. And so, yeah, it's that kind of game that you can just easily get lost in. 100% highly recommend. Garrett, 2 thumbs up. So I kind of got derailed from that, and it's because The Last of Us 2 came out. And although I'm not going to talk about that game, it made me really think long and hard about turning on my PS4 again. That was weird. I actually had to go out to my garage, unbox my PS4, hook up the PS4. I noticed there was a critical system update, downloaded that, and then I immediately thought to myself, you know what? I can't just jump into The Last of Us 2, because I was just going to buy The Last of Us 2. I was going to pre-order it right there. I was like, it has been since 2013 since I played The Last of Us. The original. I was like, I'm doing it. And I went to the PlayStation Store. Luckily, it was on sale for $10. Before you at me, I know it's free for PlayStation Plus members. Guess what? My PS4 has been in a box for a year. I'm not going to play for PlayStation Plus. I am sorry. Anyway, went on there, bought it for $10. I'm already through, gotten to winter, which if you've played the game in the past, it's all seasoned based. It's basically,
Roberto's covering
it's
his ears.
done by seasons. You've never played The Last of Us, the original?
I tried.
Oh my god.
I tried.
Okay, well,
It's
I
just too
promise
depressing
you,
for me.
I promise you I won't get into any spoilers. But it was very interesting going back to it, because even though this is the remastered version,
Yeah.
it, sometimes you look at things with what is the term, jaded eyes or rose colored glasses, I
Right.
think is the term,
Yeah.
where you basically remember things being really beautiful, and it still looks good, but it definitely plays like a PlayStation 3 game, because that's where I played it last. It was like literally the last big PlayStation 3 exclusive before the PS4 came out.
Right.
And but narratively, oh my gosh, that game holds up. I think that The Last of Us was probably a landmark in gaming history for just narrative.
Yeah.
I don't think that any other game has made me cry so hard and think so deeply about the characters that I am just surrounded with. I mean, I can compare it to like some of the best TV shows or best movies that I've ever seen. I think that Troy Baker, I can't think of a better person to play as Joel. His voice acting in this makes you just, as a father, relate to him on every level. And I don't want to go into any spoilers because reasons. However, I feel like right now, if you are thinking about playing The Last of Us 2, I think that maybe going back and experiencing that first story would be a very good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that this is not really a sequel. This is a story about people. And I think that if you don't have context to the history of a person, it's hard to just kind of jump in. And I've heard in The Last of Us 2 that they try to do a good job, as most games do, to give you some context as to what's happened to prior. But what happens in The Last of Us is so personal and so deep and so meaningful that I don't think that you're doing yourself a favor by just jumping into The Last of Us 2. And I'm so glad I'm going through it again. I'm able to run through it fairly quickly, because even though it was back in 2013, it's very puzzle-light. It's not hard. I call it a triangle hunting fest, where you literally go into areas and you take care of enemies, and then you look at the way to progress, which is usually trying to find a ladder or climbing up on a cliff. And you have to get pretty close to that thing in order for it to show you the pop-up, oh, triangle, oh, this is where I'm supposed to jump up. There are some annoying mechanics about it. The fact that Ellie can't freaking swim, and you know what I mean? After months and months of being with this girl, you haven't taken the time to maybe, like, I don't know, show her how to freaking swim. She's killing freaking zombies over here and, you know, getting herself out of these crazy life and death situations, but she can't fucking doggy paddle? Are you kidding me? Excuse my F-bomb, but, like, you know, anyway, I digress. The story is
We are now PG-13.
Yes,
so.
yes. The story is a masterpiece.
Yes.
Without a doubt. And I don't know, if you haven't played that yet, I don't know why you're listening to me, because just stop and go buy it. It's $10, and it's probably one of the best games ever made, period.
Yep.
And that's pretty much what I've been playing.
I agree.
Yeah. It's been good. I know, whoa, I got real deep on that one. It's one of those games you can't really, like, not talk passionately about, and I can't wait to play The Last of Us 2, and hopefully by the time we record next time, I'll at least be like halfway through The Last of Us 2. I do plan to jump right into it.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stop now. I'm all in. But I probably want to speak more about it when I've completely finished it, so it may be 2 or 3 weeks.
Kenny might want to talk to you then.
Well, you know,
she's playing Last of Us 2 right now.
Oh, Kenny. We're getting Kenny on this podcast. Kenny, I know you can hear me out there. Kenny's in the other room if you're listening. She is an awesome person who happens to be seeing Roberto, and I've been trying to get her on the podcast for a long time.
We have been trying to get her on.
Dantastic has been on that train too.
Most of us have been trying to get her on.
It's happening. Kenny has no choice. In fact, she's probably listening to this podcast right now on her Bluetooth device somewhere. Kenny, you're getting on the podcast. Okay, let's just jump right on in. So, as we said at the top of the hour, there's been a ton of releases, right? You had the IGN Summer of Games. You had the PlayStation State of Play. You had the EA Play. You had the Guerrilla Collective. Anyway, tons of things have been announced. Let's go to Roberto. What are you excited about out of the laundry list of things that have been announced in the last couple weeks?
The second thing that they showed off was Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yes.
And that's the thing that I already knew it was going to happen. They've been hinting it in the game, and they just showing the hand. I already knew what was going to happen, and then I got confirmation when they showed the red webbing of the mask, and I'm like, sold, already, day one. And, you know, they said it was 2020 that this game was coming out. Already, day one purchase. I don't care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, remember, in the last episode, one of the episodes from before this that we recorded, I called it. The new Spider-Man would be about Miles Morales, and that's how they would reset the skills and abilities to continue on a new story.
Real quick on that. So there was a lot of there was a miscommunication into what this game actually was. Like, a lot of people thought it was going to be a expansion or an add-on, and now it sounds like the game's more going to be along the lines as a standalone story, meaning like your
Last Light or Left Behind or Lost Legacy.
Right. And so let me just ask you real quick on your thoughts. How do you feel about that? Do you want a fully fleshed brand new Spider-Man game featuring Miles Morales completely? Or are you okay with it being like a standalone thing that costs $40 probably and just more swinging through the city with basically probably different moveset, I would assume?
I mean, ideally, I would love it to be just a full game of Miles, but I could see this as a way for them to showcase what the PS5 can actually do. And since it is not only a game that is being made by a first party team that is Insomniac, they're trying to get as many of those systems out with this game specifically.
Yeah, I agree with
Next
that.
question real quick before moving on to Spider-Man. I have a theory.
Okay.
What if on the next proper Spider-Man game, co-op, one person can play as Peter Parker, one person can play as Miles Morales.
That is
Swinging
oh my
through the
God.
city with
Dude,
your homie?
yeah. Oh my God, that would be so cool.
And then they'll maybe even introduce a newer character. Who knows who could be, you know?
As long as they don't do like Shattered Dimensions type thing where they start shooting you like that, because then you can have Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Man 2099, like
Right.
No,
Or,
I'm fine with Peter Parker and Miles Morales doing like a team up thing. Yeah,
that'd be dope.
yeah.
I'd love it. So what else you got for me? What else are you excited
They could also
about?
bring Spider-Gwen into it too.
That's what I was getting
well,
to.
yeah, Spider-Gwen. Well, like in crap. No, I don't remember the name of the movie. Yeah, the Spider-Verse.
It's okay.
My
A lot
bad.
of Spider-Man content out
Yes,
there. It's kind of hard
too
to
much.
remember all the titles.
Yeah, it's such an amazing movie.
What else are you excited for besides Spider-Man?
Well, let's see now. Deathloop is an Arcane Studios game that's coming out, and of course it's being published by Bethesda. But it's if you play Dishonored and you like those kind of games, they're keeping kind of the same powers. I'm just feeling the style of this game a lot more than I did with Dishonored. Dishonored just grays and browns and just gloomy and depressing.
Very weird faces in that game. Everybody's faces was
just
like the art style looked like a sloppy painting almost is the way I can describe
and I get what they were trying to go with that game, and I enjoyed what I played out of it. But this one, it's brighter. It's more like in your face, more not just actiony, but Groundhog's Day.
It's kind of like BioShock. Remember the original BioShock game was real dark and gloomy, and then when they went to BioShock Infinite, it was really bright and more action oriented, where you're careening down these like it was like almost like roller coaster type rails.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it like that.
But not just that, but it also looks like they were kind of hinting at the end of the trailer where somebody can actually invade your game and play as the antagonist and possibly kill you and just start that loop all over again. Because they did kind of something like that with Dying Light, if you don't remember that, where you could be the zombie. It was one of the pre-order bonuses that you can actually play as a zombie and invade other people's games and kill them. That's what I saw in that in this game, and I want to see how that works in this game specifically.
So is it a roguelite? Because you're dying and starting over.
It sounds like it has its own story.
Okay.
I don't know yet. They haven't really said much about it. It's just you wake up in this island, and it's a city of sin, or an island of sin, pretty much. Anybody that goes there, they can do whatever they want. It doesn't matter. No problem.
This is Murder Island.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the star attraction is you.
Sure.
And they get to kill you. And so when they kill you, you just start from the very beginning again.
Awesome.
And so now you're trying to figure out how to stop it, and also escape at the same time. But yeah, the aesthetics, the way the game looks, how it plays. I liked what they were doing with Dishonored. It just wasn't, the style, the atmosphere they were going with that one wasn't what I was really looking for.
For sure.
But this one does have pretty much hits all the marks that I'm excited for.
Arcane is a really cool studio. In fact, they actually made Prey,
Yeah.
which I really enjoyed for the most part. And if you're listening to this, I highly recommend checking out on YouTube. Look up No Clip, one word. It's made by a guy named Danny O'Dwyer, and he makes literally the top-notch game documentaries on studios, and he really dives deep on Arcane and the history of that studio, and it's absolutely excellent. The production quality of No Clip's documentaries are amazing. Check it out, No Clip. Danny O'Dwyer is the guy who's found it. Amazing stuff. Definitely check it out if you into Arcane. What else you got?
Little Devil Inside. That one. Just the trailer that it was showing, the aesthetic, the look that the game was going for, just the dry humor that it was using, I want to say, also caught my attention. We don't know a lot about it yet, just because it's just a trailer. It looks like it's gonna be maybe an exclusive for console, for PlayStation, and then Kena Bridge of Spirits looks like
I don't remember anything about this.
This is the one that has the Legend of Zelda feel game, where that there was this girl that was able to use a bow, and it looked like she was fighting a guardian. That one looked interesting too. and then Stray.
Yes.
Is this the cat one?
That's
This
the
is
one with
the
the cat.
cat one.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the one with the
yeah.
cat. Yeah.
I know that Annapurna is doing the publishing for the game, and these guys, they just choose some artistic, out of left field kind of games, because they're also the ones that brought Greek to us.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed that game.
Yeah, they bring a lot of different artistic style games into just into Steam or any of the big any of the consoles.
Definitely well known for their art. I mean, Gris. I also call it Gris sometimes. I never know how to pronounce that game. It's just it's a beautiful game.
It is.
Yeah. So I wonder what you're doing in that game. All I saw were sad robots and a very very awesome looking kitty cat with a backpack. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the kitty cat is trying to maybe bring humanity to the sad robots. What?
Well, it said that the humans were gone.
Yeah, that's what. Well, I don't know. Maybe trying to, I don't know, make the world a better place. I have no idea what that game was about. Go look it up if you're listening. It's amazing, crazy trailer of just like totally futuristic, really bright and colorful, cyberpunk neon signs everywhere, and just this amazingly detailed looking kitty cat, beautiful eyes. I just wanted to snuggle his face.
Yep.
And it's got a backpack, which I don't know how you get a backpack on a cat, because I've had cats in the past, and if I tried to put a backpack on my cat, it would kill me.
I have a theory.
Okay, let's hear the...
I have a theory. Okay, so here's the thing. Humanity's gone. There's no humans, right?
Uh-huh.
What if all the humans were turned into cats?
Oh, snap.
I don't know. I literally just thought of that right now. Like, you're like, I don't know how a kitty cat got a backpack on it, how it learned how to do that.
So the kitty cat's talk in the game? Fully
That
voice acted kitty cat?
Probably,
I
maybe
need to
not.
stop giving you
I don't know. No. More coffee all the time. No. I don't think they have speech capabilities because of the anatomy of a cat. Mm-hmm. But they're still able to retain some of their mental functionality and be able to kind of use things like that. So that's why this cat would be able to wear a backpack.
Right.
That's just a theory that I have. I'm guessing. Hopefully, I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But it sounds interesting. I definitely want to play Stray, though.
I hope there's just a lot of meowing,
yes.
and then there's subtitles underneath
and
as to
it
what
says
they're
meow.
saying. Like, it's just meow, 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 and it's just like fully
Make
in-depth
it Japanese subtitles
conversation.
and make it say nyan yan yan.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm down with that, too. So that's a lot of games. So it sounds like you're pretty excited.
I am.
So
like I said, day one.
Day one.
Oh, yeah.
Day one. On all of them? Or just Spider-Man?
Well, definitely Spider-Man. I meant the system in general.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, dantastic.
Well,
what are you excited about?
I am excited about Spider-Man as well, but I don't want to steal Roberto's thunder. Me personally, though, I am really, really, really excited about Gran Turismo 7. I've played Gran Turismo since the very, very, very beginning, and Polyphony Digital has been doing an excellent job updating their graphics. And while I'm still not 100% convinced with the physics of the game, because the last couple of Gran Turismo games kind of felt like you're driving on ice, and it doesn't seem as realistic when you're turning the corners. It's still a very, very excellent game, and you still need precision. It's a driving sim game, in case anybody out there doesn't know what Gran Turismo is, which is almost highly unlikely.
Yeah.
The physics in Forza are better, in my opinion, but the graphics in Gran Turismo are much better.
Those cars, though.
Yeah, oh my god. And one thing I don't like about Gran Turismo, though, is that they'll usually have like 8 variants of the same car.
Okay.
Like, you have a 2010 Subaru Impreza, and here's a 2009 Subaru Impreza, and here's the rally version of the 2010 Subaru Impreza, and here's the street version of it, and then here's a GTR, and then they go crazy and they start putting like a Pinto.
Really?
I've seen Pintos, yeah. There was, I'm like, okay, I'll drive it. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that because I've always played Gran Turismos when they come out, and there has to be a number of titles that will make me want to buy a console, and as of right now, there's at least 4 titles that I want to get for the PS5.
Right.
And so I think it'll be worth it to get it day one, because you got Gran Turismo, you got the next game that I want to play, which is Horizon Forbidden West. I played the original Horizon Zero Dawn, and at first I was a little leery on there. I was like, I don't know, I've never heard of this. It's a PlayStation exclusive. Yeah, okay. So I went on Twitch. I started watching a player. I searched out the game itself, Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't remember the streamer's name at the time, but he was playing, and he was at a pretty early mission. I want to say he was maybe 2 hours into the game, and I was like, wow, these graphics are amazing. You know, it's pretty fun. And then he went and killed himself accidentally. He's like talking to this NPC, and he was on a ledge, and he goes, "Hey, yeah, okay, I'll help you out," and then immediately jumped off the cliff, and was just like, "No, I'm not going to help you anymore." Because of that, I bought the game, and because of me playing the game, I went and platinumed it. It was excellent. Love Horizon Zero Dawn. So when they announced Horizon Forbidden West and saw the underwater scenes in the clips, I knew I had to get it. And especially because Aloy is still in there, I'm like, okay, yes. If they're going to continue the story with Aloy, then I want to continue this storyline. Now, I have not played the Frozen Wilds yet.
But you have to now.
But now I have to because
it's
a continuation. So now I have to play that. And I have to preserve my perfect platinum trophy on Horizon Zero Dawn by playing for Frozen Wilds. So I'm going to get that 100%. Even though I heard it's going to be a lot harder, but that's fine. I'm up for the challenge. Horizon's an awesome game. That is one of the games that I'm looking forward to. And then one of the other games that I'm looking forward to, which is a working title, is Project Athia. To me, it looks like Final Fantasy. And
that makes sense, though, because it's Project Luminous.
Right.
A Luminous project.
It's a
Luminous project.
And it's on the Square Enix website. You go to the website, you actually see a bunch of screenshots for the game and everything, too. One of the things I like about video games, though, is when they change up some of the protagonists. And the reason why Horizon Zero Dawn was just amazing for me was it was a strong female lead. And Project Athia looks to be the same way. This is a strong, female lead who's going off and trying to figure out, what's going on around her. And the graphics from what we've seen so far look amazing. And I'm just hoping that the story in game is just as good, because from what I've read and what I've heard, the story is going to be amazing. It's the backstory of the game itself and the backstory of the character, what we know so far, is just great. And that's what's getting me already hyped up about this game. I love good storytelling in a video game, and that's what draws me in. And hopefully this game will actually do that for me. Because that's the difference between me playing a game and only taking it the first 3 hours, as opposed to me taking a game and then playing it for the next 3 months. And platinuming it. It's the storyline.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm with you. I mean, so just going back to Gran Turismo real quick, I feel like every time that there's a console release, you gotta have a pretty car game.
There always is.
You have to, because it shows off what the system can do.
Right.
And it's
Gran Turismo has also been there for every console release as well. The PS2 had Gran Turismo 3, the PS4 had Gran Turismo 6. It was 5? Was it 5 or 6? Oh, I thought 5 was still on the PS3.
6 was on the PS3 as well.
Oh, they ported it.
It was Sport.
Yeah, Gran Turismo Sport. Yeah,
that was the PlayStation.
That's
PlayStation 4 one.
Right.
But it's just amazing to me, because I'm not a racing game guy. Besides maybe like Mario Kart when I was younger, Road Rash and stuff like that.
Oh, Road Rash.
But it's always amazing to me looking at the fine details of the car. And what's really even more crazy is that the stream that they did was actually only in 1080p 30 frames per second.
Right.
So theoretically, obviously, the PS5's 4K is going to have an ability of doing even a higher frame rate. So those cars that you saw during that stream are going to look even better.
After the stream, IGN already had the 4K videos up.
Okay, so that's online?
It was gorgeous.
Okay, cool. Because all I saw was the main stream, which apparently was only available in 1080p 30. Yeah. Wow, cool.
I showed my mom the video of this because, she's not a gamer, but she turned me into a gamer.
Sure.
Like I said, she got me a 2600 Atari when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
So every now and then, what are you doing? How you doing? Oh, I'm playing this. I showed her that from IGN.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Is this a video game?"
She had no idea.
She had no idea.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was like, "Yeah, this is a video game." That looks real. And same thing with like when I was playing NBA 2K20. She was watching me play, and she goes, "Are you watching a basketball game or are you playing a basketball game?" I'm like, "I'm playing it. Why?" And she goes, "The sounds are so real because it's the real announcer guys. The sounds of when you're in the stadium, And when the players switch and all the sound effects of when you make a free throw, all this, she was just blown away by the graphics. And when I showed her the Gran Turismo pictures and videos, she was blown away. Do you think they're going to have my car in there? Because she has a BMW X5. So, and I was like, hey, Mom, look, check this out. There's a BMW X5 in here. They got your car. Oh, buy it. All right.
That's awesome.
So I buy it for her. I keep it in my garage. I paint it the same color that her car is. And,
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I race around with it every now and then.
Take out Mom's car, give it a spin.
Did you nickname it Mom's car?
No.
You should really call it Mom's
but
car,
I did put the license plate and I put a heart with Mom on it.
Oh, there you go. I love it.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and then, I mean, just talking about, Horizon Forbidden West, so I played Horizon thoroughly.
Yeah.
I did finish it, rolled credits or whatever.
Right.
I did not platinum it. But what I'll say about that is when that game came out at the time, I can't speak of The Last of Us 2 because I haven't played that yet, and I have an inkling it might be neck and neck. I remember looking at Horizon going, and especially like Aloy's hair, that beautiful red hair, going, yeah, I think this might be the best looking game on the PlayStation 4. If it's not, it's close. It's in debate for sure. It's got to be like in the top 5, at least the top 10. Yeah. What a gorgeous looking game. And also, like you said, narratively, that I can't say, obviously, because of spoilers, but I will say that there are very few open world games that I end up really wanting to see through to the end because the story is so interesting, and it even becomes more interesting because there is a major plot twist that you find out at the end of the Horizon that, for a science fiction kind of story, blows your mind. It is literally like, what? In that kind of a way. I remember going like, oh my gosh, this totally makes sense. Yeah. But also how creative.
Right.
I guess what I'm worried about Forbidden West is how do they deliver that again? Mm-hmm. I think that Aloy is an interesting enough character to obviously continue with her as being the main protagonist. I also think that, oh gosh, what is his name? The guy who's in there who is helping her along the way.
Oh, the one that's in love and infatuated by her?
Yes, what is his name?
It's been so long, I don't remember names.
Oh, I'm hitting Dan. If you're listening, I'm hitting Dan, and he's not answering me.
I don't remember
Anyway,
names.
there was another character, and I guess I'm saying is interesting, but the fact I can't remember his name is probably not a good sign. But he does something kind of like semi-malicious at the end of it after the credits roll that make you kind of wonder what his motives are.
We're talking about a different person. Never mind.
Oh, and
it's like, oh damn, it's not the breakdown.
there was a lot of great, interesting characters.
There were.
And obviously the world was really cool. I really, really loved how each area in that world was its own. There was straight up like a lava world, an Iceland world, a jungle area. Like, it was very distinct, and I'm hoping they can do that again. Right.
Especially with the underwater aspect of it.
I'm really worried about that because traditionally in video games, we all know as gamers, man, underwater levels usually are just like nightmare. I think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles underwater level.
Except for Mario Brothers, because Mario Brothers was awesome underwater.
Yeah.
Especially with the music.
What was that?
Absu.
Absu was different. I feel like that was developed underwater, and that was more of like, I felt like I was playing Planet Earth when I was playing Absu. That's another great game, but anyway, I digress.
Subnautica?
Subnautica.
Yes, thank you. That's the other one I was trying to figure out. Like,
I haven't ever checked out Subnautica, so I have that on my Steam wish list, so whenever I get to the S's, which will never happen, I'll play Subnautica. Okay. Now it's time to talk about the real games. The manly games. The biggest games. The only game that mattered.
Oh, right.
The one and only Demon's Souls.
The only game that got Garrett all...
I was half chub while watching that. Not lying. I was kind of like, I had to scoosh around, and I think I got all hot and bothered. I had to stretch out a little bit. I was like, oh.
You're sweating right now.
I kind of am. I am getting excited talking about it. So, I mean, obviously, so here's the thing. It's being developed by Blue Point. They've kind of already proven themselves with multiple remakes. And, when I say remake, they have basically made these older games look absolutely beautiful. I think their most recent one was The Last Guardian. Is that correct?
Oh, The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, when you look at The Last Guardian original and then look at what Blue Point did to that game, it was absolutely stunning.
Was it The Last Guardian?
Well, now you're making me second guess myself. I'm not sure. But anything, I've seen games that they've remade and redone, and they've been very, very beautiful. Ico and Last Guardian are
No,
in the same
you're talking
deal.
about Eco and Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus. Thank you.
you.
I said The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? I
Well,
don't know
they're similar games. But,
Yeah, okay, I'm all over the place. Yeah, Shadow of the
Colossus.
Colossus.
There we go.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm really excited about talking about Demon Souls. I'm getting my games mixed up. But anyway, absolutely awesome team. They've obviously proven themselves that they can make an older game look fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, as you guys know, like I'm a huge Dark Souls fan. I've played through the trilogy. I have played Bloodborne. I have played Salt and Sanctuary, Dark Mouse, Neo, numerous Souls-likes, and this is the game that originally started an entire genre. Without Demon Souls, there is no Souls-like, period. Like, this is the game that started it all. And what's interesting about it is, it's the only one that I haven't played. And it's because I wasn't interested in these style games. I came to the game late. The first Souls that I got into was Dark Souls 3. I have screwed up this series completely. I went from 3 to 1 to 2 to Bloodborne, and then all the other Souls-likes after that. So it's okay, though. These games have never really needed to be played in consecutive order. The stories are usually really mysterious, and you kind of have to go to the community to kind of put the pieces together to try to figure it out. I'm just really anxious to get back into that world, because those games grab me in the way that, like I was talking about Divinity Original Sin 2 earlier, they just hook me in a way that I feel like not just immersed, but the game in me literally become one. And I have to do nothing but play it, beat it. Watching the trailer got me super excited. I've really always been into that really medieval dark fantasy look. I am just so excited to die over and over and over again. And then finally, when I am crying on the floor, bloody, sweaty,
rocking back and forth,
finish the fight that has been keeping me down for so long, basically about to have a heart attack, coming through to the other side at the light of the tunnel. That is what video games to me are about. Like, that feeling of overwhelming the impossible. I am so excited for this game, and I just can't say anything more than that, other than, like, Demon Souls is here. It's finally here.
Now, quick question.
Yes.
From when I was still working in GameStop and that kind of thing, and I always ask people, which is the hardest game out of, the Souls games? I've always gotten Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm.
So are you ready for Demon Souls when it comes to that?
Yes, I am.
And then what do you want to actually, what is some of the things you want to add to, or that,
Well, I mean, besides obvious upgrade mechanics, like basically how the game feels, how the game looks, the game plays, I would like them to add their own twist, but I can't speak too much of that because I didn't play the original. So I can't tell you, like, what they could add to it to make it better, but I trust in Bluepoint to do that. I feel like there's probably not a better studio to take this on because I know they'll respect it, and I do hope that, from what I understand, and what was so good about the Dark Souls series is the world and how it's interconnected. And what I mean by that is, if you've played any Souls games, you'll know that at the very beginning of the game, you'll come across multiple paths that you just simply can't get to.
Right.
But, 3/4 of the way through the game, all of a sudden you unlock a shortcut and it brings you back to where you started. And now everything that you've had to push and fight back and fight through, you can just surpass by going through that shortcut. And it's those moments of levity that kind of like bring you down and go, what?
Yeah.
This pathway was here the whole time? From what I understand about Demon Souls, from what I've heard and talked about with friends who have also played the game, they say it's more level-oriented. It's not so interconnected. So maybe if they could make the world a little bit more connected, I guess that's the thing I could only really ask for. Another good example of this is if you've played 1 and 3 and Bloodborne, those are all very connected, but the one that is kind of the most disjointed is Dark Souls 2. There was a hub world, but you kind of only go off one way, and it kind of keeps you going down that path. There are very few shortcuts in that game that kind of bring you back to that world to make you feel like this other sense of accomplishment other than just beating bosses. So if they could find a way to like interconnect that world, I think that to me would make me like really excited, because there is a weird rush that you get when you find these pathways that lead you back to where you were. So that's pretty much it. I hope that you can summon a friend. I don't even know if that was available in Demon Souls. I didn't know if you were able to actually summon in players from another world. I do hope they have PvP. If that wasn't a thing in Demon Souls, I don't know if it was. I hope that is an intricate part, because I am not afraid to summon somebody if I'm dying that much. I had to summon a couple people in Bloodborne. Vicar Amelia, bro, I summoned quicker. I saw that lady and I was like, nope, somebody's helping me with this. I can't do that. Anyway, I'm just so excited about it. And I think the next thing I'm just really excited for is just the fact they announced the PlayStation 5. We haven't really talked about that.
Yeah.
You know, they came out, they showed the console. Just to talk about it real quick, it's very tall.
Yeah.
It looks like a wireless router.
It does. Looks like a modem.
They
Yeah, it looks
did
like a
say
modem.
that the size is because of the fans that they're putting.
Yeah, they need the cooling.
Yeah, thermal cooling they were talking about being able...
Because I know the Xbox Series X is having thermal cooling.
Thermals is what they had said. That it was so large because of thermal reasons.
Oh, okay.
So thermals was the reason why they said they needed to make it larger. Which, I mean, hey,
which is surprising because because I know that the Series X is having liquid cooling built into it. So in that case, PlayStation is actually not doing that for this system.
Okay, so it's just fan based. Just gonna be some fans up in there.
Woohoo!
So
yeah.
Oh, my bad, wrong one.
Well, either way,
engines, right?
you know, as long as it doesn't sound like my PS4, because you know what? I mean, I turned on my PS4, and when it did that critical update, I left the room. I was like, I'm gonna die. This thing's gonna explode, shrapnel in the face. I'm going down. And now,
clean it, bud.
dude, even playing like The Last of Us, like now, I am like, I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna.
Clean the
Yeah, you just need to take out the fan. It's super easy to do. You just get a can of air and a little dry terry cloth, and you just shoot like that and take it out. It takes like 10 minutes.
Okay.
And
Well,
then
maybe I'll
I did that. I do that to my PS4 once every 6 months or so. So I'll dust it out. I'll clean out the fan. I'll spray everything. I'll get my little dry terry cloth. I'll very carefully.
The day one PS4, or is it the Slim or F?
Oh no, this is that's the one. No, yeah, it's the angled one.
Angled.
Yeah. I've had a PS4 for forever.
Okay. Because the original PS4s or take a lot more time to actually open up, get the fan, clean the fan, and then put everything back in. The Slims and the Pros, they just take off the top, clean it.
No, mine does take a little bit of extra. I don't have a Pro. Right. I believe it is one of the first gen ones. But it takes me a good half hour to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Once I start noticing that my PS4 sounds like an airplane in my room, woo, that time for me to air it out. So I'll go in there, I'll get my can of air, spray everything out, it's all good, dry it off, put it back on, turn it back on. Guess what? Don't hear anything.
Well, I mean, hopefully with the PS5, it won't be as big of a problem.
Or as loud.
So like I said, it is super tall. They came out and they basically showed a very futuristic, and I'm just going to say it, Jetsons-like. It's almost like it's like a try-hard futuristic piece of art. And when you look at it, there's whites and blues and there's blinky lights, and it definitely looks futuristic to me. They were also showing it standing vertically.
Yeah.
And that was like, wow, I don't know. I'm going to have to come up with a spot to put that, because I have like a cubby-based system. And so it's going to be interesting trying to figure out where to put that. What I was really excited about is the fact that they have released 2 of these, or they're going to, I should say. They're going to be releasing one with an optical drive, and they're going to be releasing an all-digital version. And you can bet your bottom that I will be buying the all-digital version. The one with the optical drive has like a mini hump, I want to say. When you're staring at it, it looks like a camel. It basically comes off the side of it. It almost looks like it was like thrown onto the console last second. Like they were originally going to go with like an all-digital version, and somebody was like, no, dude, you got to throw an optical drive on there. It's also located on the bottom, which is weird. Like I said, it's like the bottom right, and I can't describe this thing. It looks like a tumor. Like the PlayStation 5's tumor is like busting out the right, and it's significantly thicker when you look at it.
With 3 C's?
Yeah. It's not a tumor. And so, they haven't released any sort of tech specs, really.
Right.
They also haven't released price directly from.
Right.
But
it was leaked on Amazon, the French Amazon site, for about, I think it was an hour, 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And it was quickly taken down. And it was priced in euros at 500 and 400 euros. So that's what it was leaked. It's still not actually confirmed whether that is going to be the actual price.
Help me with the euro to dollar.
It's very comparable, so it's going to be about $500 to $400 US anyway.
So we're thinking digital is going to be $4,
Yeah.
and then the version with the optical drive. So really, could they charge $100 for an optical drive?
And if it does what it says it's going to do,
a
yeah.
4K Blu-ray player starts at $200 by itself.
Fair enough. Does it do 4K? Is it a 4K?
That is a 4K
it's
player?
a 4K. Yeah, it's
a
going to be a 4K.
Blu-ray player.
Damn.
I'm going for the optical because I started a collection of 4K movies.
Yeah.
Sure.
And if you want to take full advantage of your 4K TV,
Mm-hmm.
the 4K Blu-rays are the way to go when it comes to that. Unless you want you're okay with using, if you have like Comcast or anything that has a data cap, and going over it and paying extra, that's all you on that part.
They have come out and said that whatever technical specs are inside are going to be identical, other than the optical drive.
Right.
So we should expect the same sort of performance as far as graphics, frame rate, that kind of thing.
Because didn't they say for the Xbox Series X that one model is going to got less performance?
A little like that.
I think it was going to be a little bit, and that's also going to be part of the thing where they're going to try to do a lower price point on the all-digital version of the Xbox Series X, because it's going to have a slightly less performance than the regular one.
Oof.
But it's also going to be at a more consumer-friendly price. That's in quotes there.
Well, I have no idea what Xbox has up their sleeve. They're so off the radar for me as far as a console right now that I haven't honestly been paying too much attention to their announcements too much, other than the fact that I hope that they both do really well.
No, yeah,
I think that they both have a lot of good things going. And just looking forward, we still have Microsoft's stream.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but just really quickly touching on that, man, after that Sony stream, bro, they got to bring it.
Yeah.
I mean, Sony came out swinging. You guys already said most of the games. I mean, just, Miles Morales, Spider-Man,
Yep.
Gran Turismo, Demon Souls, Horizon Forbidden West. These were huge.
Well, they also have to make up for the
announcements.
third-party presentation because that was kind of sad.
Yeah, and so I am really interested to see what first-party studios have been doing, because, man, they need to come out and show a new Fable.
Well, they've been
They
buying
need to come
a lot
out.
of development teams too.
Yeah, and so Phil
Well,
Spencer...
you bet your ass that as soon as we get more information on the Xbox Series X, then we're going to be covering that too.
For sure. And yeah, I think that's pretty much a wrap. Yeah, definitely stay tuned, because we're definitely going to be covering up games in the near future. I'm going to be talking about The Last of Us 2. These guys are always going to be talking about always amazing games. It's been amazing just to be back here in the studio. If you're still listening and you've made it this far, let me tell you, Roberto and Dantastic, they're beautiful. We're sitting here without masks in the same room, sweaty. It's great.
I'm not sweating, you are.
Our germs are all over each other.
Sweating.
It's great to be back here in the studio. If you're listening to this, share it with a friend. Say, hey, have you heard about the Games with R&D podcast? Check it out. Of course, you can find us on all the major platforms. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on the YouTubes. You can find us on all your favorite streaming services, Anchor, Spotify, you name it. And guess what? We love you.
Peace!
Bye.
I gotta go. I just realized I'm like, holy shit, it's 4:45.